guys, my name is Ambika and you are here with me on Unacademy's YouTube channel, which is Let's Crack CBSE with us. So guys, first of all, let me tell all of you about this incredible educational platform wherein you can actually get access to unlimited courses, and you can check out the recorded courses and everything whichever is lined up for CBSE, that all the things are available on our course. So first of all, let me tell all of you about the Plus subscription. So herein we have got two major subscriptions. That is the Plus and the Iconic. So let me give you a brief idea how the Plus subscription works. So first of all, as you all know that we got stuck in this situation wherein we simply can't go out, isn't it? So you can learn at the comfort of your house. You don't need to step out. Why to get affected by any of those deadly viruses and wherein you don't want to even compromise with your knowledge, with your learning. So you can enroll yourself, and you should rather enroll yourself with Unacademy. Next is unlimited access to lots and lots of courses. So once you have started doing it, once you have got the fair idea how it will going to work, so you can check it out that they have got unlimited access to n number of courses. Next is top educators of India on one platform. And the next very important thing about Unacademy is that you have got the top-notch educators. They are so prolific. They are like, they're like demigods, or they are like superheroes who are so prolific in their own streams, who are so prolific with their own topics that they will going to help you out with your own content. Next is exhaustive coverage of syllabus. So these educators will going to cover every inch, every corner of your syllabus. Nothing will be left incomplete. Nothing will be compromised. We will going to cover every inch, every corner, every topic, subtopic of your course. Next is regular doubt clearing sessions. So another important thing about Unacademy is that herein you will going to have regular doubt clearing sessions. We will not going to leave you in between we have taught you things and we're not going to clarify or solve your doubts. We will. And especially one class is being dedicated. Specifically, it is meant for doubt clearing sessions. Next is live test series. Another important feature is your study material. So we will going to provide you the content in the PDF format. You can check it out whenever you want. It is saved there with you. Next is when it comes to English, our major drawback or our major concern area is how to answer those questions. We know, I personally feel that children know what the question is asking all of you to answer. What is the agenda? What is the situation which is being given to the by the question? But the problem arises wherein we simply don't know how to frame answers for that. Hi Nidhi, hi Srinita, hi Soumya, hi Sujal. Good evening, guys. Right, so herein we will going to help you out with that. Next is, this was all about Plus. Now we have got another iconic subscription feature, and the name of that subscription itself is Iconic. So herein we will going to cover all the aspect of your, hi Harsh, all the aspect of your learning. First of all, let me give you a clear and a fair difference between Iconic and Plus. So Iconic talks about, personal mentor. They have got this feature wherein you will going to get the guidance from the mentors. If you want any of the specific mentors, so they are all there for you. Next is your doubt solving sessions, which are live. Another important thing is weekly report. So a detailed report on classes attended, like how many classes you have attended, how you have performed in all those classes, how many tests, quizzes you have attempted, everything will be right there. But this feature is only and only applicable and available with your Iconic subscription. Next is Parent Connect. So regular open hours available for parents to discuss concerns with your personal mentors. So now, because you have got a personal mentor in your Iconic, so now your parents can also have a direct connect with the mentor. Next thing is Study Planner, and all those benefits which were lying there for you when it comes to Plus, they are already there with Iconic. Right, another thing is we have got separate badges for your commerce, for your humanities, and for your science. Right, next thing is when we grow up, when we move to grade 11, grade 12, we start giving less of the importance to our NCRT, and rather we give more importance to the other huge giant, textbooks. But herein, because we are supposed to give the CBSE exams, the board exams, and wherein we are simply going to have the content majorly from our NCRT. So we have got batches which are simply dedicated to cover your NCRT content itself. Next is your test series. Another important thing with the Unacademy is that they have come up with this iconic idea of Creative Corner. So now, because you all know, right, CBSE has actually asked all the schools that they don't want to create robots. Rather, they want to create human beings who are so prolific in every aspect of their lives, right? So now, with this concept in mind, Unacademy has also come up with the Creative Corner, wherein they will going to teach you Vedic math. Doodling means, sketching in some way or the other. Public speaking, origami is making craft from papers, or there are certain other ways as well. Magic tricks, poetry, storytelling, robotics, mnemonics. Mnemonics are, like certain abbreviations or certain ways how you can remember things for long. That is called as mnemonics, and debating. So they all are right there. They all are right there along with your plus subscription, right? And these all will be dealt by the creative experts. It's not by somebody who is like super fine with it and they are dealing with it. No, they will going to be dealt by the creative experts. So that was about Creative Corner. Let's just quickly see what are the features of a Plus and Iconic. So in Plus, we have got the best of educators, interactive live classes, live tests and quizzes. Along with that, Creative Corner. But with Iconic, as the name itself is very iconic, we have got the personal mentor. Along with that, live doubt solution, parent connect and study planner is also right there with your Iconic subscription, right? Next comes the pricing. So you can check out, you can evaluate, you can see that they are really less. Because when I'm going to recall, if you allow me, if I can recall the old days when I was in school, so we had paid a lot of huge amount for our coaching. But herein, what you are getting for 12 months or for 18 months is nothing what we have paid for a month itself. So guys, if you're really keen, if you're really interested, and if you're super excited, then you can enroll yourself with Unacademy. And for your Iconic or for your Plus, you can use my code, which is Ambika. Right, and with that you will going to get 10% discount. Now another important thing is that was all about Unacademy, but the major question still lies therein, like how to get into this app, like how we can register ourselves. So it's very easy. All you need to do is go to your Play Store, type Unacademy learning app there, install it, and that is how it simply functions. Like any of the other apps which we have, in the same way it functions. And our Telegram ID is Quest11 CBSE Science, wherein you will going to get the information what all classes are being lined up there for you, right? Again, as I've already told you, you can use my code, which is AMBIKA, to get a 10% discount. Yeah. So with this, let's move to the agenda of the day, and which is the portrait of a lady. Guys, I have decided, because now November is right here. I mean, it's 2nd of November already. And herein, we are like, what, a couple of months away from our exams. In fact, okay, let's just say 3 months away from our exams, right? So herein, what I'm going to do in this series is that I will going to come up with the summary of the chapter. I'll give you a quick brief summary. Sorry, it will not be quick, but rather it will not going to be, I'm not going to, the way I was doing in the previous lecture, that I was reading the single line, I was explaining that. So exactly the contrary of it, I will going to give a briefing of a particular paragraph, or when it comes to a poem, a briefing of a particular stanza, right? We will going to check out the NCRT questions, and on your first page itself of Hornbill, we have got certain terms, right? So I have already got the answers for that. You can take a screenshot. Along with that, we will going to check out the NCRT questions and a quiz which we will going to solve together, right? So that's all we are going to cover in this class. So it will be kind of a lengthy class, but I hope you'll get to enjoy it. Yeah. Now, first of all, as we already know, this story was being written by Khushwant Singh, who lived from 1915 to 2014. So that means he had seen the pathetic effect of our India and Pakistan's partition, right? He was badly affected by the incident which took place. Another important thing is his famous work is A Train to Pakistan. I wish I would have shown it to you right here, but perhaps when we're going to meet in the next class, I'll show you the book Train to Pakistan, which was being Hi Divyanshu, which was being written by Khushwant Singh. Right, so that's all about him. He was politically active as well, and he had worked with the Congress. Right now, this chapter, the portrait of a lady, is taken from the book. Its name was the Book of Unforgettable Women, and this book, the Book of Unforgettable Women, are actually dealing with the ladies, with the women who plays a pivotal role in the life of Khushwant Singh. So one such woman is his own grandmother. Right, the portrait of a lady, that is being taken from there itself. Now, characteristics of grandparents, we already know that they shower their unconditional love on us. They talk about they discusses their own experiences with us, and how fondly we sit and discuss our life with them. Rather, so that is something which is being touched upon in this chapter as well. In this story, Khushwant Singh has described his close relationship with his grandmother and the beautiful time they spent together. So, अगर आप लोग ने chapter पढ़ा है, so you are definitely sure that what all it covers, it talks about the bond, the connect Khushwant Singh had with his own grandmother, right? And when they were together, how exactly they used to spend their time. The basic theme of this chapter was the theme of family bonds, और हम इसको familial bonds भी बोल सकते हैं, right? We can simply say familial bonds as well. Clear? So this is something which we already know. It is not about the relationship simply between the grandparent and the grandson. Rather, when he had lost his grandmother, his mother, she actually she actually gave food to those sparrows which were there for the grandmother, right? So it's not about only the connect between the the grandmother and the author himself. Rather, it talks about the familial bond as well. Next is the theme of spirituality. So how she was so much keen, how she was so much, hi Ashish, right? So how he was so keen to be, how she was so keen to make your author Khushwant Singh to dive deep into spirituality, but that is something which he never did. Now, the style of writing for this chapter is very easy, and that is the story is narrated in the first person. Now, what do we mean by the term first person? That means everywhere you can see my grandmother, I did that, my mom did that, right? My house, my paternal house, my father called both of us, the grandmother and me, to the city, right? So everywhere we can see the personal pronouns. And what are those personal pronouns? They are my, right, I. Words like these, they are called as personal pronouns. It gives first-hand experience to the reader. Now, what do we mean by the first-hand experience, bacha? It is very easy. See, whatever was happening, we are checking it out from the author's word himself, or rather from the person who is writing it down. Right? It is giving a first-hand experience. It's not about that somebody else is telling a story of somebody else's. No, right? Again, it is being mentioned in first person. Clear? It gives clear and vivid picture of the first-hand experience which the author had. Hi, Soumya. Now, it also gives us the fair idea what connect the author had with his grandmother. Now, just a second. Now, I would request all of you to sit with your books open. If you can do that, that would be a great idea for all of us. Now, I'll give you a briefing of the whole chapter by discussing each and every paragraph. So if you want to write down the important points somewhere, you can do that. Now, the story begins in wherein the author is describing his grandmother, that how she could not even believe that she is looking the same way since ages itself. Now she had got wrinkles on her face altogether, and she could not, and the author could not even believe that she once had a husband, right? And this couple also had their children. Now there was a portrait of grandfather father which was being kept on the top of the mantel piece, which was right there in the drawing room. Later he describes his own later he describes his own grandfather, that how he has got big turban and his loose fitting clothes, right? Next is he has got the white beard, and how it is, nobody can even say that he could be less than 100 years old. I mean, the way he was being dressed up, the way he was looking in that particular portrait, one could easily say that he was somebody not below the age of 100. Next thing is, so the grandmother used to tell them the stories of her own childhood. Now, it was simply an absurd idea. Absurd idea means, if you want to write it down somewhere, that simply meant now, which is that it was simply an illogical way of a grandmother to talk about her childhood in an, in a very undignified manner, right? When she used to say that even I was young, even I was pretty, that thought was itself revolting. I mean, that is a concept, that was a thought which was so difficult for the author to believe in. Because, if your grandmother says that, I had a childhood, even I used to play with the street guys and we used to play this game or that game, so it gets really difficult for anybody to believe that, right? So he used to treat those incidents like fables of the prophets she used to tell us. So now he used to treat those incidents, those stories as fables. Fables kya hota hai bachcha? They are simply the short stories, they are the short stories wherein, जैसे कि हमारे grandparents हमें कहीं बार कुछ stories नहीं सुनाते. So that is how the author also used to take it, as that these are simply the fabricated stories which she had created, which she had molded, so that the author also involves into it. But on the contrary, these were the reality of the grandmother. Yes, once she was young. Yes, she once played with the other children. Yes, she was very much interested into games. But again, it was an absurd idea. It was simply something which is being considered as indignified for a grandmother to even think of. Are we clear with this paragraph? Now the story goes ahead. Now it says, in this particular paragraph, he is actually describing his own grandmother, that how she had got so many wrinkles on her face, the crisscross of wrinkles crossing all over her face, right? And she always looked so old. I mean, when he saw her 20 years back, she was exactly the same. She did not had aged further. She did not had aged less. Rather, she looks exactly the same since ages. Now, it is being mentioned the way, you remember in our previous lecture, we have talked about the factual description, right? So in that factual description, I told you that if you're trying to describe any of the person, you should mention the way they dress up, the way they look, right? In the same way, it is being mentioned that she used to wear the spotless white sari, right? She always had the beads of her rosary in her hand. So beads of rosary kya hoti hai? Mala hoti hai, which she used to always had in her hand. And she used to hobble. Hobble means move one place to the other in that white sari. And she had a stooped back. Stooped matlab kya hota hai? Jhuki hui back, right? And she always had those silver locks. Locks means they are the hair. And another thing which I wanted to make it very clear to each one of you is that the plural for hair is hair. Do not dare to mention it as hairs. right? She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, and she was so calm and so composed, just like those winter mountains which are being lined, which are being there since ages, and they are so pure, they are so white, they are so soothing to look at. Now the story goes ahead and it says that my grandmother and I were good friends. Now it clearly shows the connection between the grandmother and he himself, Khushwant Singh himself. Now what he's now telling us, that his father, that his parents had left him with his grandmother. So now later he discloses his own monotonous routine which he had with his grandmother, wherein she used to make him get up in the morning, right, and she used to sing those morning prayers, she used to make him bath, right, and she wanted him to learn those morning prayer by her heart. Yes, Sujal, everything will be covered this way because it's November and you need to be super sorted and super clear with all the content of the story. So yes, everything will be covered this way itself. Yeah, you're liking it, by the way? Is it fine the way is it going, Sujal? Now, later he goes on by telling, ouch, by telling that how his grandmother used to sing those morning prayers, and she wanted him to learn that by heart. Later, she used to, although he never got it, but he just simply liked to listen to his grandmother the way she used to sing that. Later, she was the one who used to fetch the wooden slate, and she used to, give him a chalk and everything which he might be in need of when he goes to school. Next thing is that she used to prepare the breakfast of stale chapati. Now, what do we mean by stale? Stale is जो पुरानी थोड़ी पुरानी चपाती होती है वो, right? She used to add a little butter and sugar, and why did she used to do it? So that she could give it to the village dogs. Now let's move to the next paragraph. It says that she used to go with him to the school as well, right? Wherein she used to, because this school was adjacent. I have used this term bacha, which is adjacent. Adjacent मतलब क्या होता है? पास not parallel. Parallel क्या होता है? आमने सामने. I have used the term adjacent, which means that they used to share the same wall. Now there was this temple which was right adjacent to the school. So she used to go to the temple. She used to have her morning prayers, right? And on the other hand, there used to be children who used to sing in chorus. Chorus means in harmony the alphabets. Right, once they both are done with their own basic things of the day, they used to go back to home, and while going back, the dogs used to follow them. Clear? So this is all about their life in village. Aman, every line in Hindi. Okay. बच्चा ये चैप्टर मैं ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन कर चुकी हूँ, आज मैं सिर्फ समरी कवर कर रही थी. सो अच्छा ठीक है, I'll use both the languages. Will it be fine with you? Cool. Now it says, so this was all about जब वो लोग village में रह रहे थे. Now the story goes ahead. अब क्या हो रहा है? Now the author's parent have called both the grandmother and Khushwant Singh himself to the city. Right, because अब जो parents थे वो वहाँ पे settle हो चुके थे. Now they wanted both of them to join them. Now this was a turning point. Turning point मतलब अभी तक जैसी life चलती आ रही थी, that has like switched altogether. So why it is being called as a turning point in their friendship? Because अभी तक they were living, they were sharing every inch, every moment of their day together. But the moment जैसे ही वो लोग city में shift होते हैं, although they got the same room, but their connect got little less with time. Now, earlier, जब ये लोग village में थे, so the grandmother used to accompany him to the school. But now he used to go to school in motor bus, right? Divanshu, let's not question it. It's okay. We are managing, no? Aman, tomorrow I will going to discuss a photograph for YouTube, and on special I'll go with something from literature itself. That's the plan. Yeah. Okay, so now they have moved to the city, and abhi tak village mein they used to go together. They used to accompany each other to the school or to the temple. But now our author is going to school in the school bus. Now their time to spend together has got limited. Another thing is that, while they used to go to school, so they both used to feed the street dogs. But now she has decided, the grandmother has decided to feed the sparrows in the courtyard. What is a courtyard? That's an open space in the house, right, which is called as veranda. Right, so ऐसे करते करते years have rolled down, and now he started sharing, because now अब जो grandmother थी वो उसके साथ school तो नहीं जा पाती थी, but then he started sharing his own incidents, what all were happening in the school. So he used to tell that, the science which he was learning, Archimedes principle, that the earth is round. He was learning new language, which was English. Now this all made his grandmother little bit anxious. She did not like the whole idea of him learning. I mean, she was pretty fine him. अमन हो गया है, वही मैं बता रही हूँ. I'm simply giving you the briefing of the chapter, right? I'm trying to cover the whole chapter paragraph wise, right? So that you'll be super clear with each and every paragraph. Later we're going to check out the NCERT questions, and the few of the questions we're going to do it together as quiz. Clear? So now she did not like him sending to the English medium school. And another thing is that why she did not like the whole idea of him going to English medium school was very clear, that in English medium school they did not used to talk about the scriptures, about God, about existence of God, about Purans. Right, so that is why she did not like the whole idea of sending him to the school. Another important thing which annoyed him when it comes to English medium school is that they were trying to teach them, the students, music and dance, and that is something which she used to consider as lewd. Lewd means something which is not being dealt by the high society people. Rather, this is something which the people who have no good reputation, they do it. Right, that was the mentality of his grandmother. Right, now she did not that is why they started talking very less with each other. Now later he accepted, he actually went to the university, and now this room was altogether for the grandmother. So she kind of accepted this whole idea of living together, right? She kind of made peace with it, right? That she was fine living all alone, and that is how the story goes on. And we later came to know that she started spending most of her time in spinning wheel, in reciting prayers, right? These are the two things which she kept on doing for the whole day. And to break the monotony, Aman, that's what I said. No, I have covered a photograph, but I will going to give a gist of the whole poem, and we're going to cover the NCERT questions. Along with that, few MCQs will also be done. Clear? Now it says that now to break the monotony, she used to feed those sparrows, right, who used to gather around in the veranda. Clear? And she used to, like, that is the bestest of the time which she had with those sparrows. Yeah. Next thing is, so finally he came back from abroad, and his grandmother also okay, another thing, children, we have done this question multiple times, but I don't know, many of you do it wrongly. It says she was not even sentimental, right? Why she wasn't even sentimental? But there is one term I want all of you to use, which is stoic. STOIC. Stoic का मतलब क्या होता है? Somebody who is not affected by the pleasure and the pains of life, right? जब ना, when people grow old, या फिर somebody who become saint, संत महात्मा जब बन जाते हैं, so they all become stoic. Stoic मतलब क्या होता है? उनको जिंदगी की किसी भी problem या किसी भी happiness से they are unaffected. Right, so that is what this grandmother has also become. She was not even sentimental. She wasn't even showing the that she was actually affected that her grandson was leaving her. Clear? Now, so the story goes on. Now the author comes back and she welcomed her grandson by calling all the women of the neighborhood, and they started having the gala time together. They were singing the songs of the warriors homecoming. So that is how, and she was beating the drum in such a way that it was about to it was about to take the last breath of its own life, right? And now they have realized that the grandmother is somehow losing pace with her breath, right? Then they realize that she's growing ill, but then and later on she even got the mild fever. But the grandmother simply thought that this is something which is which is like nothing to worry about, so she never paid attention to it. But gradually she became so quiet because somehow she know that this is the last phase of her life. Although everybody else was trying to cheer her up, but then she, because she herself got the fair idea that this is the last moment, and because of which she stopped singing. She had omitted bacha. Omitted means that she had stopped singing, she had stopped praying, and rather she was not even speaking with anybody else. So everybody in the family protested that it's okay, nothing will going to happen to you, so you better please be active. But then she herself knew what all she was going through, and later on, those lips which were continuously lip sync out the bhajans, the songs, the prayers, they stopped moving, and the rosary beads which were right there in her hand, it fell down, right? The peaceful pallor means the calmness spread on her face, and we knew that she was dead. So with that, everybody realized that she is no more. Now, as it takes place in the Hindu culture, in fact in every other culture as well, that it is a custom. We take the dead on our shoulders, and we try to either bury them, we try to burn them. Thank you, Aman. That would be a great effort on your part. Thanks a ton. Right, so now it says that it was a very mourning means a sad, doleful moment for everybody, and they all were busily concerned about the arrangements of the funeral. So now this is like a very beautiful imagery which is being used here. In the evening, they were trying to bury, they were trying to for the cremation of the mother, they were trying to gather, they were trying to hold her up. And जैसे ही sunset होता है ना, so sunset का मतलब क्या होता है बच्चों, that we are done with the day. So in the same way, the grandmother was also done with her own life, and जो last light थी sun की, that entered into her room, right? And when they were moving out there, they realized that there were so many birds outside, and they weren't even chirping. So these birds which were like super active throughout the time, now these birds weren't even chirping. Clear? The author's mother tried to feed them, but they did not dare to take any of the breadcrumbs. Later in the morning, the sweeper swept those breadcrumbs away into the dustbin. Clear? So that was all about this chapter, right? We have covered the chapter by discussing each and every paragraph. Now, still, if you have any doubts, you can write it here and I'll try to answer it. Another thing is, if you guys are super fine with taking the screenshots, then keep the space of your mobile phone pretty empty for you, because that is what you're going to do for another 3-4 minutes, I believe. Yeah. Thank you, Sujal. Thanks. This means a lot to me. Woohoo, somebody likes it, huh? Anyway, so now there are certain terms in your book, right? They are really important. Let me tell it to you honestly. So these are their exact meanings which are being used here. Clear? If you want to write it down, you can. And if you want to take a screenshot, call is totally yours. My Telegram channel is it is Quest 12th CBSE Science. That is my Telegram channel. So you can you will going to get the further information about the next class itself there. Thank you, Ashish. Thanks a ton. Okay, the first word, Quest 12 CBSE Science. Thank you, Nidhi. Thanks, bacha. Okay, the first one is The thought was almost revolting. So what exactly it meant? That it was disgusting to think so. What was so disgusting to think about? That his grandmother was once young and she used to play with the other street children. Right? That was the concept, that was the thinking, that was the whole idea which he did not like at all. He was simply considering that as the story which he used to tell of all those magical creatures of profit, which was simply being considered as fable. Right? So that is the, अगर आपको इसको और ज़्यादा explain करना है, so you can quote the whole paragraph from there. Second is an expense of pure white serenity. Serenity का मतलब क्या होता है बच्चा? Peace. I'll write it here. Oops, let me just change the ink. Yeah. So serenity का मतलब it's peace. P-E-A-C-E. Another thing I want all of you to use is tranquility. ये वाला वर्ड बहुत कम बच्चे जानते हैं, but it's good अगर आप ये वाला वर्ड यूज करेंगे. I'm telling you the spelling, which is tran, T-R-A-N Q-U-A-L-I-T-Y. Serenity, calmness, peace, tranquility are all the synonyms. Right? So an expense of a pure white serenity means widespread, clear and calm whiteness. Clear? Next is a turning point. ये वाला word I think ये वाला phrase हम सबको बहुत अच्छे से पता होता है. The time when an important change takes place. So this is this is something wherein an important and very differentiating change takes place in our life. That is called as an important or a turning point. Next is accepted her seclusion. Seclusion मतलब क्या होता है बच्चा? अकेले रहना. Right? अकेले रहना, you're living aloof. Right? That is... Thank you, Aman. Right? So that is the meaning of the word seclusion. So she accepted her seclusion, she accepted her loneliness, she accepted her aloofness with calmness. Okay, she did not revolt about it, against it. Rather, she accepted it full-fledgedly. A veritable bedlam of chirpings. So it means that real confusing noise caused by chirping. अगर आपने birds की chirping को सुना होगा, so you all know like how do they chirp, right? So that is the meaning of the word a veritable. और veritable का मतलब क्या होता है? A very loud, like shrieking voice of those birds. Okay, next, thank you Divanshu. Next is frivolous rebukes. So rebukes means किसी को डांटना, चीखना, चिल्लाना, and frivolous means not so strictly, right? So that is what she used to do. She used to shout, जैसे कि whenever any elder person is yelling at us, so we can consider that as frivolous rebukes. The sagging skins of the dilapidated drum. So that is, इतनी जोर से वो लोग ड्रम को बीट कर रहे थे that, उस ड्रम की जो बॉडी थी, स्किन थी, वो टर्न आउट होने वाली थी. Clear? Now it's time. I think all of you have taken out the screenshot of that particular content. Now it's time for all of us to check out the NCERT questions. If you want me, you can take a screenshot if you are fine doing that, because बच्चा अगर आप इन वाले आंसर्स को फाइनली एग्जाम में कुछ देर पहले भी पढ़ लोगे ना, पूरा का पूरा समरी will going to be revived in your mind. Thank you, Aman. Okay, now the first question is, mention the 3 phases of the author's relationship with his grandmother before he left the country to study abroad. All these questions are right there on page number 6 of your book. So you need to mention only 3 phases. So whichever way you are comfortable, you can take it out. The 3 phases can be, the first phase is the period of his early childhood where he used to live with her in the village. His grandmother used to wake him up and get him ready for school. They both would walk to school together and come back home together. They had a good friendship with each other. So that was the phase 1, right? Wherein they were living together. They used to share the same room, and how two of them used to walk in together to perhaps to the school or to any of those works which they were supposed to do. The second phase one was when the grandmother and Khushwant Singh himself moved to their parents' house. So still they were sharing the room, and though that was simply the turning point of their friendship, because now the quality time which they used to spend together when they used to live in village has gotten up pretty tiny, has lessened up. The third phase was when the author moved outside of the country itself. He registered himself, he enrolled himself to the university, and the time which they used to spend has come to almost negligible, right? The concept of sharing the same room also went down, and to kill away the boredom, to kill away the monotony, she used to spend that time while serving the sparrows, and that simply used to make her happy. Clear? Second question. Mention 3 reasons why the author's grandmother was disturbed when he started going to the city school. So you all know those 3 reasons. What were they? That why they are teaching about science. Hi, technical Guruji. The first reason was why they are talking about science. Why are they not even discussing the holy scriptures? Why are they teaching them the music? Because that is something which harlots. You have to use this term harlots while attempting these questions. Harlots kaun hote hain bacha? They are people of kind of a pretty bad reputation. Right? और harlots का basically मतलब होता है okay, Aman, I'll try to do that. Yes, now it says that when the author used to live in the village with her, they both had a good friendship. She used to wake him up, got him ready, and would also accompany him to school. All this changed when they moved to the city. And now what are the following reasons? What are the following different ways which she did not like at all? So now she could not actually help him in teaching those lessons. Why? Because he has moved to the English medium. And now language has become barrier for her. वो English में उसको नहीं पढ़ा सकती थी. Right? So that is the first reason. Second is, now in modern school, in English medium school, they were not dealing with the concept of God, the concept of holy figures, the concept of scriptures. So she did not like the whole idea of it. Third is, she did not like that they were dealing with music, because according to her, that the beggars and harlots are used to that is their way of earning money. Not people of good reputation, good family reputation are supposed to deal with music. Clear? Now your question number 3 is, Hanji Pranav, please, if you want to ask, I'm right here to answer it out. Mention 3 ways in which the author's grandmother spent her days after he grew up. So now he is simply asking that how the grandmother used to spend her day. I don't know that. Okay, I have no clue. But thank you for calling me that. Okay, so now his grandmother changed a lot. So his grandmother had changed a lot when he grew up. She would spend her day at the spinning wheel. That is the first thing. Second is chanting prayers, and third is feeding the sparrows. Guys, you better take it seriously, because abhi I'm going to conduct a quiz and you have to perform there. Question number 4 is, mention the odd ways in which the author's grandmother behaved just before she died. So now you need to tell how exactly she behaved when she was about to take her last breath. Aman, I am from Rajasthan. I am from Jaipur. Yeah. So she didn't pray that evening before dying. She collected the women from the neighborhood and started singing Homecoming of the Warriors with the help of the drum. So she started when she came to know that her grandson was coming. So now she started singing the song of the Warriors' Homecoming. The next morning when she fell ill, she said her end was near. She started praying peacefully while lying on her bed. She refused to talk to anyone during her last hours. Right? Question number 5 is, mention the ways in which the sparrows expressed their sorrow when the author's grandmother died. Children, another thing, it is very important. This question is really important. You need to express how the sparrows felt when the grandmother died. The grandmother used to feed the sparrows in her veranda each day. So to break her monotony, she got a real great connection with the sparrows. This is something which we already know, I believe. When she died, thousands of sparrows expressed their sorrow by sitting in a scattered way around her in the veranda. So when she died, a lot of people got, sparrows were there just to pay their homage, their respect to the grandmother. And for a change, they did not chirp, rather they were there in complete silence. The author's mother tried to feed them by breaking the bread and throwing it in front of them, but they didn't eat anything. When the family carried grandmother's corpse means the dead body. It is the dead body, okay? They flew away quietly, so they did not chirp the whole time. Next is, talking about the text. It is there on page number 7 of your book. The author's grandmother was a religious person. What are the different ways in which we come to know about this? So, I think all of you can answer this question very easily. When she lived in the village with the author, she used to sing prayers in a monotonous sound while getting him ready each morning. This is the first thing from wherein we came to know that yes, she was a religious woman. She used to walk the author to his school and then visit the temple attached to the school every day. Second incident, that she used to drop the author to the school. Hi Rishabh. And what she used to do, she used to she used to go and sit there in the temple and she used to read those scriptures. Later when they moved to the city, she would carry the beads of rosary with her all the time. Right? And she would continuously chant her prayers, and the remaining time she used to spend telling the rosary beads. So that is how we can actually identify that indeed, yes, she was a religious woman. Next is, describe the changing relationship between the author and his grandmother. Did their feelings for each other change? Yeah. So you can answer this question also. It's very easy. So first of all, let's just share what kind of a bond. Letter writing, yes, we have covered it, Aman, already. In the early days, they both shared a good bond. She would get him ready for school, accompany him, and would come back with him later in the day. So when the classes are being going on, she used to sit there. She would help him with his studies and would teach him prayers by singing in a monotonous tone every morning. When they moved to the city, their relationship was strained. Use this term, but it's really important. Strain means it bloated. There was some strain means it got affected by in a very bad manner. He started going to an English medium school. She would no longer accompany him to the school or could not help him with the lessons. Right? She didn't like his new school as they never taught him about God. Yes, Devanshu, give me like a couple of minutes and then we'll begin with it. First thing is that they did not talk about the God. Second thing is that they were teaching lessons. And the third thing is that she could not help him in mentioning, in describing, in dealing with those chapters because now they were all in English. When the author went to university and then abroad, their bond. We are done with note making also. Now then she accepted her seclusion. No, their feeling for each other didn't change, but during the time a distance developed between them. So obviously they always had the respect for each other. They always had this admiration. They always had the love for each other. But yes, the distance grown between two of them. It says, would you agree that the author's grandmother was a person strong in character? If yes, then give instances. Instances means give example. Quote situations from the text. Again, factual description के लिए I told you. In the same way, you can do it here as well. I would request though that please take a screenshot of all of these answers, bacha. No, Aman, kind of complete हो गई है. A bit is being left there. Yes, the grandmother was a strong person in character. The instances to show are as follows. She had her own thoughts about school and school teaching. She considered learning scriptures a better thing than studying science or English. The first thing that she had her own mindset. She was a stubborn lady who used to and who belonged to an old school of mentality as well. Second thing is, she did not like the whole idea of accepting that people of good family reputation or people of high upper middle class, they are being dealing with music, because according to her, music is for beggars, for somebody with a bad reputation. Next thing is, when the author moved to the university, she accepted her seclusion. She accepted her destiny that okay, it's time that she needs to live all alone. And she did not waste her time by shedding tears. Rather, she involved herself way too much in spinning the wheel, chanting the prayer, telling the beads, and along with that, she used to feed the sparrows. Next thing is, when her grandson arrived, she did not dare to stop her emotions. Rather, she was so happy that she called off the women from the whole place, and then they all were singing the homecoming of warriors. And then when she was on her deathbed, she did not waste a single time by speaking with anybody. Rather, she slept there, she was lying there all alone in a way that she was not even talking to anybody. And in the last moment, she was simply chanting her prayers. And when she died, the rosary beads fell from her hand, right? Her lips stopped moving, and later we came to know that she died. So I hope this chapter is very certain with all of us, right? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Tell me, and I'll surely going to help you out. Let me tell you, there are lots and lots of questions. So now how you will going to answer that, bacha? For example, when I'm going to show you the question number 1, how you will going to write? It will be like, something like this. You will going to write, okay Nidhi, you will going to write 1, and if you agree with option A, then A. If you agree with option B, then B. Because it's not your mentee quiz, rather these are direct questions. So that is how you will going to answer it. Now, who is the author of the Portrait of a Lady? Ruskin Bond, Khushwant Singh, V.S. Naipaul, or Vikram Bhatt? Come on, go with your answer. You know how to write it down, right? It is, just write 1 and then your answer. Answer it first, everybody. Write in the comment box your answer. Come on, go for it. One B, okay, that's perfect, Nidhi. That is definitely Khushwant Singh. I have just told you who Khushwant Singh was and what was his timeline as well. Yes, Divyanshu, that was definitely indeed Khushwant Singh. Who is the main character of the chapter The Portrait of a Lady? Mother, sister, grandmother, or daughter? Perfect, Sujal. Perfect, Divyanshu. Okay, now try out the second question. Who is the lead protagonist? Who is the main character? Who is perfect, Nidhi? That is the grandmother. Perfect, Sujal. Come on, everybody answer it out. That is the grandmother. How did the grandmother in the portrait... it says... How did the grandfather in the portrait hung... next time, Aman, we're going to conduct that next time, but aaj ke liye that is what we have got. So yes, yeah, okay, let me read the question first, Nidhi. How did the grandfather in the portrait hung on the wall look like? Old long white beard, worn big turban. Old skinny wrinkly. Young handsome well built. And old or well built. Okay, very good guys. Okay. That is definitely A. Clear? Old long white beard, worn big turban. How did the grandmother look? Old fat or long? Long fat, slightly bent. Old short, slightly bent. Fat, slightly bent or fat? Come on, give me the answer for this question. Fourth C, old, short, slightly bent and fat. Very good, bacha. Rest. What is the answer, guys? Sujal, Aman, Divyanshu. Tell me the answer. Divyanshu is going with option C. Very good. Oh, yes. Very good, Sujal. Yes, that is definitely answer C itself. When did the author's parents leave him with his grandmother? When he was a kid? When he was an infant? Infant कौन होता है बच्चा? Who is a toddler, who can't even walk. When he became a teenager, or when he failed and became a teenager? Divanshu, I would request please that write 4A or 5B or whatever the answer is, right? Please mention the question number as well. Very good. That when he was a kid. A. That's great, guys. That's great. When he was a kid. Perfect. Which animal did the grandmother used to feed in the village? Were they dogs, cows, sparrows and cats? Children, they are asking for village, not in the city. So you better opt for the answer correctly. Check out the question. They are asking which animal she used to feed. Perfect, Nidhi. Perfect, Sujal. That is dogs. Very good, guys. Yes, 6th A is your dogs. Perfect. Okay. What did the author eat for breakfast? Very good, Divyanshu. The question is, what did the author eat for breakfast? A thick and stale chapatis with a little butter and sugar spread in it. Thick bread with butter, upma, rice or curd. Very good, Nidhi. My God, my champion, huh? That's great, Divyanshu. Very great going. Very good, bacha log. That's great. A thick and stale chapatis with a little butter and sugar spread on it. Good, Aman. Good. Right. Next question. Jaldi se karte bacha, because we have got lots and lots of questions with us. Why would grandmother accompany the author to his school? Like, why was she used to accompany him to the school? To keep an eye on him? To wait for him to take him back to home? Because of the temple attached to school, or she wanted to meet villagers? Very good, Nidhi. Aman, good. Okay, Divyanshu, great. Perfect, guys. Because the temple was attached. Very good, Sujal. Because the temple was attached to school. Great going, guys. Great going. Where were the parents of the author? They were abroad. Abroad means in some other country altogether. City, other village or other state. 9th. Come on. 9th. Nidhi, perfect. City. Okay, see, you got this chapter so clearly, huh? Now you know it. Very good, Aman, Divyanshu, Sujal. All of you are correct. Indeed, they moved to the city. Very good, guys. Next is, what would the grandmother do in the temple on a daily basis? So why she used to go there? For meditation, to read scriptures, to sing religious prayers or teach other kids religious prayers. What do you think is the correct answer? Definitely that's not meditation, and that is definitely not this. Now you're left with B or D. Very good, Aman, Nidhi, Divyanshu. Yes, that is to read the scriptures. Very good, Sujal. 11th question is, what was the turning point of the friendship between grandmother and author? Like, what was that turning point? When he became an adult? When his parents called them both to the city? When he left her to live in the city with his parents? Or when they stopped talking? What do you think? What exactly had happened? Very good, Divyanshu. Very good, Nidhi. Yes, when his parents called them both to the city. Very good, Sujal. I think you have got no doubts till now, बच्चा लोग. अभी तक बहुत sorted है ना सब कुछ. And I think the summary worked for all of us. जल्दी से सब कुछ refresh हो गया. Yeah. Okay, the next question is, where did the author go to study in the city? English school in motor bus, by walking down to nearby school. That's great, Sujala and Devanshu. Hindi school or nowhere? Yes, Nidhi, that's great. Ma'am, please start grammar topic. Okay, grammar I will going to conduct that on Unacademy, Pacha, wherein like on plus soon, and that too soon. Yes, that is English medium school in bus. Perfect. Next question is, what made the grandmother unhappy about the author's new English school? So why was she so unhappy about this whole idea of sending her grandson to new school and to new English medium school? The fact that she could no longer help him with the lessons because they were in city, because she didn't understand English, and could no longer help him with the lessons. Perfect, Nidhi. Perfect, Aman, Divyanshu. Okay, that's superb, guys, because first of all, she did not understand English, and that is something which was making her handicap, because she could not deal and teach him that particular thing. Why didn't the grandmother like music? So why didn't she like the whole concept of music? It was the monopoly मतलब क्या होता है बच्चा? उन्हीं का upper hand है, like that is being taken over by harlots and beggars and not meant for gentle folk. She liked only religious prayers, she liked the traditional folk music, or she thought it would distract him from studies. Very good, Aman, Nidhi. You did not even let me complete the question, huh? Oh yes, so that's the correct one. Yes, Divyanshu. Yes, Sujal, I'm still wait. Yes, okay, that is A. Perfect, because it was being, only being dealt by the harlots and by the beggars. How did the grandmother spend her time in the city? So how she used to spend her time? By feeding dogs, by reading scriptures, spinning the wheel, and talking to neighbors. So with this, you need to go with the first thing which she used to do. The first thing which is being mentioned in those three things. You remember in the chapter there were three things. Very good, Nidhi. Sujal, yes, right. Yes, perfect, all of you. That was spinning the wheel. Because reading scriptures was also she used to do. But then you have to check out the order of it. How did the grandmother spend her afternoon every day? By feeding hundreds of sparrows, by taking a nap, by talking to author's mother, or by going to temple? Come on, what do you think would be the appropriate answer for this question? (16A) according to Nidhi. Okay. Sujal is also going with A. Divyanshu is also going with A. Okay. I'm waiting for you, Aman. What do you think is the correct answer? That is by feeding hundreds of sparrows. Yes, indeed. 17th question, guys. What happened? Okay. What happened when the author moved abroad to study for 5 years? So what exactly happened? Grandmother bid goodbye by silently kissing his forehead. No one came to see him. Grandmother moved back to village, or parents moved with him. What exactly happened? Very good, Nidhi. You got me there. That's great. That's like my child. Very good, Aman. Superb. Yeah, Sujal, that's going great. Great. Divyanshu, 17th A. Perfect, bacha, perfect. So that is that she bid him farewell. She said goodbye to him by kissing on his forehead. 18th question on your screen, guys. What change came in grandmother's evening schedule? We are more considerate about the evening schedule, right? That is what the question is all about. Hi, Priyanshi. She collected the women of the neighborhood. She would go for a walk. She would sleep early, or she would talk to his parents. What change came in grandmother's evening schedule? Very good. That she okay. That's great, Aman. Priyanshi, you are supposed to answer the same way the way others are doing it. No, so you need to write the question number and then write the correct option, which is that she collected the women of the neighborhood. Clear? Next is what happened when the grandmother didn't pray for the first time? Like what exactly happened? She fell ill the next day. She made this her routine. She took a break and went to the village, or none of the above. What do you think? What exactly happened with her? 19th A, very good, Nidhi. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh yes, Aman, that is great. That is great. Sujal, answer it. Priyanshi, okay. But you write the question number also, Priyanshi, if that's fine with you, please. Write 19 and then your answer. Yeah? Okay, Sujal, that's great. Divyanshu haven't answered it. I missed out Divyanshu. No, Divyanshu is left. Okay. Anyway, so that is the correct answer, that she fell ill the very next day. How did the grandmother react to her illness? So she said her end was near. She ignored her health. She took care of her, or she was admitted to the hospital. What exactly happened? What do you think? 19th, okay, 20th, 20th, 20th. Very good, Priyanshi, Nidhi. That is great. Sujal, oh yes, Aman, perfect, yes. That she said that she agreed, she accepted that yes, her end was near. What did the grandmother do in her final hours? Talk to everyone in the house, worried about everyone, silently praying and telling her beads, or went to temple. What exactly she did that particular time when she realized that her end was near? 21, Nidhi, very good. Simply praying and telling her beads, very good. Superb. Sujal is also going with C option. That is great, Sujal. Priyanshi, yes, it is right. Okay, and that is silently praying and telling her beads. Perfect. Question number 22. How did the grandmother die? During telling beads, laying on the bed, in the hospital, while sleeping, or none of the above? You know this answer clearly, Bacha. I am so can vouch on this. We are left with, I think, 4-5 more questions. 22A, that is great. Priyanshi 22A, Aman 22A, Sujal, perfect, perfect, perfect. That is during telling beads lying on the bed. Perfect. How did the sparrows express their sorrow at the death of their grandmother? They didn't come that day. They came and sat silently in the veranda. They ate the breadcrumbs, or they chirped a lot. What exactly happened? Yeah? What exactly happened that time? They came and sat silently in the veranda. Very good, Nidhi. Aman, that's great. Aman is back, huh? Priyanshi, Sujal. Yes, Sujal is also going with 23B. Priyanshi is again with 23B. Oh yes, that's the correct answer. Yeah, okay. So they came and sat silently in the veranda. They did not chirp the whole time. What happened when they took the grandmother's corpse away? Corpse, I told you, that means the dead body. Neighbors visited them to pay condolences. Condolences means to talk about the great loss which they have just got into. They mourned her death in her room. Birds flew away silently, or nothing happened. Very good, Nidhi. You're a champion, huh? All of you are. Aman, that is great. 24C. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, that's great. Very good, Priyanshi. That is superb. Yes, Sujal. So that is birds flew away quiet, silently. How do you feel about the character of the grandmother in this chapter? So do you feel a little emotional? Do you feel a little strong? What do you think? Like she was a selfless lady or a very loving lady? I mean, this answer can vary. I mean, that is completely your call, because it is simply asking how do you feel. This answer is subjective. आप सबका different answer भी हो सकता है, because again it is a very subjective question. Okay, Aman is going with selfless. नहीं Aman, selfless तो नहीं, because she was considering her own views pretty strong. So हम selfless तो नहीं बोल सकते. Priyanshi is going with D. Very good. Yes. And otherwise Nidhi is going with B. Strong. Yes. Selfless nahi Aman. And Sujal is also going with B. So yes, she was strong. She wasn't emotional and she wasn't selfless. We can either choose strong or loving. Clear? Next is, where was the author's grandfather's portrait placed? It's okay, Aman. Hey, I'm right here to check you out, to help you out. Don't worry. It says, where was the author's grandfather's portrait placed? On a shelf, hung above the mantelpiece, put on the mantelpiece, or on a table? It is hung or put. Choose your words very wisely, okay? Okay, Nidhi has opted for option B. Let me think. Let me see what others have gotten it from me. Priyanshi is also with B. Aman is also with B. That is great. Sujal, you're there? Okay. Yes, it is B. Perfect, perfect. Hung above the mantel piece. Perfect. Did the author bother to learn the morning prayers that his grandmother recited? So he was readily accepting it. He wanted to learn that, kya? Yes. He listened but he did not bother to learn. He could not learn or no. It's easy. It's very easy. Nidhi has opted for 27B. Okay, he listened but he did not bother to learn. Decent enough, yeah. Aman, yes. Oh, yes, that's great. That's great. Priyanshi is also going with 27B. Sujal, okay. With lots and lots of vote to B, let's just finalize B. And indeed, that's the correct answer. He listened but he did not bother to learn. When was the common link of friendship snapped? Snap means broken. Something happened between two of them. When he went to college, when he went to the university, they were given separate rooms. When he started working or when he went abroad. 28 guys, 28 now. Nidhi has opted for B option. When he went to the university, they were given separate rooms. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, that's great. All of you are super clear with this particular answer. Yes, that is when he went to the university, they were given separate rooms. All of you are, 29th and iske baad 30th, and we are done for this particular chapter. What was grandmother's reaction when the author was going abroad? She was happy, she was sad, she was not even sentimental, or she was sentimental. I made you underline this particular line few minutes back. So don't you, oh no way Sujal, when I was explaining it to you, paragraph wise, I underlined it as well. Yes, okay, Aman is going with not even sentimental. Priyanshi, no, that's incorrect. I was expecting this. Nidhi, you there? Should I go ahead? Should I proceed? If you're sitting with your books, it is right there on page number 5th, second last paragraph, and it says third line, but my grandmother could, she was not even sentimental. It is right there on page number 5 of your book, that she was not even sentimental. Clear? And here goes the last question for the day, which is, what was the reaction when he came back after 5 years? Overwhelmed, claps the author in her arms and said prayers, happy, or that she was sentimental that time? Okay, we are left with this particular question and we are so done with this chapter. 30th B. Very good. She claps the author in her arms and said prayer. Very good, very good. All of you have, I think now there's no doubt, there's no question related to this chapter, The Portrait of a Lady, which was being written by Khushwant Singh. So if you have enjoyed the way I have taken this particular class, that we have covered the summary paragraph wise, we have checked out the question answers of the NCERT, we have checked out the theme, and we have done 30 questions based on this chapter. Now I hope none of the queries are left. Right now I hope that this chapter is very clear in your heart, in your brains, in your minds. Yes, All right, this is it's okay, Nidhi. I love doing it. Thank you so much for attending the session with me. Yes, the next class we will going to cover up the next poem of your the next it's a poem, a photograph, right? So we will going to yeah, regular class in series, bacha, definitely. That is what we are going to do, right? So next is we will tomorrow we will going to cover a photograph, which is a poem, right? So I'll see you tomorrow again at the same time, right? Till that time, do take care of yourself and don't forget to enroll yourself with Unacademy. And for that, you can use my code, which is Ambika, to get 10% discount, right? With that, I'm going to take your leave and keep on studying and have like genuinely keep on studying. Yeah. All right. With that, I'm going to take your leave. Bye bye.